Number 8. Continue. I'm back. I'm alive. I awake in the welcoming darkness of the cold metal that I left for. I try to recall where I came from. For what? I dreamt of Stephanie and Jacob, and I feel like I left the warehouse. There are so many questions swimming around my brain. I'm in holding number 3. Patient 25 is in his prison. I quickly shoot up and move through the holdings again, trying to recount where I left from. I'm now in holding 6. Patient 3 is locked up and killed in the corner, moving his mouth slightly. I must have locked him up. Patient 3's wide eyes dart over to me, the torchlight blinding him. He whispers loud enough for me to hear, "We're all doomed." Those words make my hairs stand up, on end. He begins repeating it over and over, getting louder and louder. Crazy. I reassure my thoughts and let out a sigh, and then move to patient 145. I walk into the holding of 145, and I hear her sniffing constantly, moving around her prison cell, her brunette greasy hair swaying erratically.
I smell burning, burning, burning.
I smell no burning and move swiftly on to the remaining patients. I stop at the entrance to patient 155's holding, the next patient who is free, unrestrained from the holding. I reach for my walkie-talkie, thinking that I need to update my supervisor. "Please hold." The walkie-talkie speaks back to me and starts a jingle. The positive jingle contrasts with the dark, quiet and cold warehouse. Doop doop deep dap. Doop deep deep dap. I try to mimic the jingle. I'm going crazy. I walk back and forth, trying to keep myself warm as my flashlight gazes out towards the door of patient 155's holding. I feel the vibrating energy of adrenaline. "Hello, Matt. How are you getting on? Over." The supervisor comes through the jingle, making me jump. "Hello, supervisor. Everything's going fine. I've just secured patient 3 as well as 25 and have made sure that patients 10, 15, 124, 132, 145 and 128 are all safe and well. I have found James's gun at the cell of patient 25. I have not found nor seen any sign of James on my mission. Over." My teeth begin to chatter. The supervisor replies, "That's great work, Matt. That only leaves patient 155 and 77. He pauses and lets out a sigh that crackles through the radio. "It isn't good news about James. I would have thought that you would have seen him by now. Odd about the gun. Projectile restraining apparatus. Now, back to your mission. The next 2 patients are the most dangerous of the bunch that you have come into contact with so far. The projectile restraining apparatus you came across may come in handy as the final resort if needed. Do not shoot to kill, Matt. Our patients are vital to our work, so please only use the apparatus if you have no other choice. If you secure the final patients and get the electric back on, Redacted have told me you will get a £2 a month pay rise and the next day off if you choose to take the next day off." £2, I shout out into the open without clicking the talk button. I kick the air in frustration and pace back and forth faster and with a heavier stomp coming through my boots on the metal floor. I pause for a moment, trying to regain my composure. Then I reply back, "Sounds great." I struggle to find the words of my happiness, and the words trickle from my mouth in a sarcastic, deadpan voice. I carry on, trying to stop the awkward silence from carrying on. "I've got to carry on, Soup. I'll call you when I'm back in the safety of my office." "Godspeed, Matt." He lets out those words through the radio, sparking a memory of the beginning of this long, long mission. "Oh yeah, I called you Houston." "My name's Anthony," he replies in a stern voice, and the silence of the warehouse stagnates the conversation. "Bye, Houston." I hang up, before he could think of a meaningful reply. Anthony, what a stupid name for a supervisor. The thought lightens my fear, but that fear of the unknown swiftly comes back as I walk closer to the next holding and patient 155. Chapter 9. Cranberry. I take a deep breath. Here we go. I psych myself up to meet patient 155, pacing back and forth in the empty corridor. I move forward and push open the heavy metal door, my heart pumping faster and harder with every heave of the door. I open a body-sized hole through the doorway and shimmy through. I enter from one dark room to another. My torchlight picks up no patient, but hears a low grumbling snarl that makes me gulp. My mouth lost all the wetness it once had. I can't help but breathe from my mouth quickly and shallow. I look over to the bars and the corner of my torchlight reveals an arm splayed across the floor. The orange jumpsuit scratched and ripped apart. I move closer to the centre of the holding, the snarl getting louder and more grating. My torchlight reveals patient 155, who is incredibly pale. He's so white that my torchlight reflects off him, his veins visible from where I stand, blue and jutting out like tattoos. He is laying flat on the floor. The snarl I now realise as a snore. I let out a sigh of relief. I walk towards the prison cell and grab the end of the door. Patient 155 quickly snarls up from his slumber. I can make out a name that he grunts out. Mark. 155 is now standing up facing me, his eyes sagging and the bags under his eyes swinging side to side. He moves forward towards me at a slow stumble.
Escape, we must escape, Mark.
He grunts out those words as he drags his feet across the floor. I try to command him to stay where you are, don't move, but he doesn't listen and continues his creep forward. I grab the gun on my side and point it towards patient 155, my hands shaking uncontrollably, unsure of whether I would be able to aim or handle pulling the trigger. I will shoot! My voice crackles with fear. He moves slowly, unwavering. The gate. I remember my goal and grab the gate with my gun hand, fingers awkwardly around the bar, and I swing the gate to a close. The gate crashes into the position it should reside. I run to the side of the door. Patient 155 moves towards the side that I ran to. I grab the keys with my torchlight hand and put them into the keyhole. Grasp of patient 155 follows quickly as he reaches his arm out blindly and finds my neck, choking me with his cold hands. I lose my breath, his eyes, bloodshot, moving closer towards me.
You can't lock me in here, Mark.
I breathe for what air I can get, my head now quickly feeling dizzy as he grips my neck harder and harder. I hold up the gun to 155's head and close my eyes. I see eyes that follow the darkness in my mind reverberating over me like a blanket. I hear the gun snap through the air. The bang seems to echo for minutes, bouncing its way through every room and crack in the warehouse. The eyes in my mind now creasing with a smile. They bring warmth and comfort with the snapping of the bullet. I've done what's right, I think. I open my eyes, the grasp of 155 dispersed, and my breath is now free and fast. 155 is on the floor, not moving nor breathing. He's dead. I tremble at the thought. I drop the gun and stare at it stunned. I move backwards, collapsing down the wall. I reach the floor and fix my eyes firmly on the man that I just tore life from. I cut my head in my hands, crying, gasping for comfort and pace to the life that I cannot find in these halls. This emotion I feel now is from somewhere else, somewhere deeper than I cannot handle. I explode out in wails and cries that I didn't know I had. I close my eyes and see those staring, omnipotent eyes again. You've done well, Mark. The eyes reassure me with a raspy voice that I feel I've only heard in my dreams. The voice stabilizes me, and and I finally let out a warming, slow inhale and exhale that cools my trembling hands. I slowly get up, through my arms that are wobbly and unstable. I hobble over to the door, the keys still in there. I lock the door, hearing and feeling the loud clack of the mechanism securing the corpse inside. I slowly stumble away, grasping at the bars, stepping over the right hand of the corpse, not glimpsing at what I've just done. I hold onto the wall as the gate ends, and then finally reach the door to the next hallway. I push open the door slowly and steadily, regaining strength as I go. I hear a low snarling coming from the holding I just closed. It shudders me to the core. I quickly stop and snap back towards the corpse. It's still and where it fell from the gunshot. The bullet hole on the right side of the temple is now oozing a black liquid. I see the right arm that I stepped over splayed out across the gate line and the hallway I just stumbled through. The arm begins to twitch quickly and sporadically. I begin to violently shake my head, trying to shake the image of what I just saw out of my mind. When I stop shaking and look at the corpse, it is still and silent. The phantom's not getting me this time. I finally move on to the final holding.